Hello and welcome again to Just 5 Minutes with John and I talking about the topic of well-being and resilience. A quick reminder of the four main pillars that we see as the key pillars, really, the key things, the key elements to get right in a sense of our own well-being and organizational well-being. And I guess today, John, we're focusing a little bit in the second one there, resilience and emotional energy, with particularly addressing financial well-being. And John, in your expertise doing a PhD into the subject and doing a lot of research, I wondered what you had to say about financial well-being. It's quite a powerful pressure, is it not?
Yeah, it is. So a lot of interest in this area for a number of reasons. Obviously, if we don't have money in the business is going to go under, and so that brings about a lot of stress, which is understandable. And the global pandemic that we're going through at the moment is creating a lot of worry for people around finances and jobs. So financial well-being is a massive issue at the moment. Like when we're looking at employees, I think that's also very important, because if they're got worries about their finances, it's going to affect their physical, emotional, their mental health, and concentration levels are going to go down. There's been a lot of research that's shown how worrying about financial well-being is linked to concentration and attrition rates in jobs. Absenteeism is a thing that's been picked up by Deloitte recently. This can be directly attributed to people worrying about their jobs, and those rates have gone up because of the global pandemic. I think there was a report by the FCA that was talking about 121 billion pounds worth of money is lost because of financial well-being, because of worrying about financial well-being, and 18 million working days. And that's through stress, worry, not going to jobs because of being anxious and being stressed in this environment. So there's also an interesting statistic that came up as part of that FCA report. So they were saying around about 70% of people, or employees, let's say, worry about their jobs and their money at any one time. So that rate has gone up from 70%. I think they're talking about 80 or 85% now. So quite a big increase because of the global pandemic. So with an increase of such a big rate, the effect then on concentration levels, on people's performance in their jobs, is going to be massively impactful. But I suppose one of the questions that I ask myself is, that's all well and good that we know about this, but how do we practically do something about it? And I think as a business guy, Mark, maybe you're the best person to sort of give some tips.
Some thought. I mean, what is shocking is this rise from 70 to 85% of people that have this now as a pressure in their mind, and it's good for employers to be mindful about that. I think from what to do, from the business coaching we've been involved in, and looking at how to get financial security and stability, say in SMEs that we coach. There are three tips, John, and there are three things to do, and I think it does come down to us as individuals to begin to try and alleviate ourselves and our families from these pressures, and it's tough. But three quick tips. Number one, track. I'm surprised at the number of people who still don't know what their credit card statement is going to look like at the end of the month. Know in detail and meticulously in detail what the outgoings are, and track. That's the first stage. Unless we know what we're dealing with, it's difficult to begin to build a feeling of safety. The less unknowns, the better. Secondly, the first priority after that will be a fallback plan. Some way of financing that you don't dip into, but it's there if you need to. The rainy day fund is the traditional way. Maybe, look, I could borrow against my property if I needed to, or look, I could borrow from my family if I needed to, or I could do an extra job if I needed to. But if there isn't a fallback plan, you tend to feel very, very vulnerable. So design a fallback plan. And the third tip would be this: long-term, think of assets, not income. Start thinking, what am I going to own? How do I build up my ownership long-term? Because if you know you're building to owning things such as property, or maybe collections, or vehicles, or whatever it is you're deciding that you're going to own, your money is in assets, not in income. And that tends to give a sense of security too. That's a long-term plan. But if you think long-term, it does help with the current day's today's security. So there are three tips, John. And I guess if people want to contact us, we'd welcome that, right?
Yeah, indeed. And it's an interesting point about planning. I would definitely look at planning as a way of mitigating any risk. But yeah, I think if people are interested in the subject, we'd love to chat to them.
Yep. Thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks.